Hello to all of my loved ones. This is Love Marlene 411, and welcome to the Sip and Chat, where we sip and we chat about very informative, healing, sometimes silly, but topics that is really good for us to discuss and talk about with my co-hosts, Miss Nexa.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Miss Marlene. How are you today?
I'm awesome, awesome.
Me toi. It's almost the weekend. So that is a good thing for me. Yay.
Almost. It is the weekend.
Well, one more day and then we're there. Oh, but you work the weekends, right? Sorry.
No, I do. This is already my weekend. I'm starting now.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was like, wait a minute, it's only Thursday. But yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot you
yeah,
work the
yeah.
weekends.
I don't like weekends. So it's the weekend now. Okay,
Okay, let's do this.
okay, Miss Nexie. You know what I gotta ask you?
Yes,
What are you
miss.
sipping on? Mm-mm-mm.
Just plain water. It's hydrate alkaline water.
Oh, alkaline. Someone's fancy.
Well, I don't know what this means because I didn't order this. I don't know why they brought it to me, but it's good.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, alkaline. Okay.
I guess that's all the water they had in this very bougie,
Oh, see?
fancy
See?
restaurant that I ordered food from. I guess because it's healthy food. That's all they had. So
Oh, I see.
I'm enjoying it though. It's really good. It's really good.
Okay.
But
Okay.
let me ask you, Miss Marlene, what are you sipping on?
Miss Nixie, I'm catching your vibe because I'm in H2O land too.
Whoa.
Yes.
Are you
Can you
feeling all
believe it?
right?
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you feeling
There's
all right?
there's no I'm not having a sugary juice. I'm not having soda. I'm not having alcohol. I'm having water. Water.
We're trying to get fit. We're trying to get healthy for our cruise. So
Yes,
yes, we
we're
have
trying
to
to
have the water.
get ourselves together. Hmm.
Yes, miss. To look our
Yes.
best, to
So
live our best life, Miss Marlene, as you say.
yeah, yeah, to live our best life. So Miss Nexie, let's get started on today's topic. Welcome to everybody who is new here. This is Love Marlene 411 and my co-host Miss Nexie, and we sip and we chat about topics. And today's topic is the one that got away. The one that got away. And
Ooh.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start off this Miss Nexie by saying that. Um, hold on, Miss Nexie.
Sure.
Um, I'm gonna start off this topic by saying sometimes because of the people that are around us, because of who we are, it's hard for us to speak up and to talk about the feelings that we have with somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. So true.
Hmm. Hi,
So
Miss
true.
Jackie.
Sometimes,
Welcome.
hello, Miss Jackie. Sometimes I think, Miss Marlene, I blame most of, what the topic we're talking about because, we're mature, we're older. But I blame the maybe the insecurities, the inability to speak up, the inabilities to stand up for what we want and what we believe. We wanted and we believed back then it was because of lack of maturity. And we were still insecure, we weren't as secure as we are now, because I'll be darned if anybody's gonna ban me from someone or see someone in my age now, right?
Hmm.
So a lot of times the people that we have around, because we have been taught to respect your elders, you have to listen to your elders. And as I get older, I learned that I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything. I am wrong in a lot of things. So I go back and think, like, why did I listen to them? They were wrong on their advice. Or, you know what, that information wasn't correct. It could have worked out. It would have been great. But sometimes, because again, your lack of, maturity and your insecurities play a big role in the listening to.
Yes, 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 and yes. Because Miss Nexie, what you said is right. There are so many times, Miss Nexie, that you have somebody and you're crazy about them, and then here comes people, and then they start projecting their fears, their insecurities. And I hate to say this, but it's the truth, Miss Nexie. We couldn't have this conversation without saying
Hmm.
it. But also their prejudice.
Yes, yes, Miss Marlene. That is, I think, what drives most of their thinkings, their decisions, their advice. It's not only. I think the biggest part is being prejudiced against that person, whether it's because of their skin color, is it because of their money, one rich or one poor, it doesn't matter, but they're prejudiced in one way or another. And I feel that that's why, it contributes to the way that they think and how they stop you from engaging into a relationship or continuing an already, established relationship. They make your life sometimes very difficult because they want to deter you from actually ending up with this person. So it is a lot of times the prejudice on their part that drives the way that they behave and what they do.
And this is just my opinion, Miss Nexie. It's not yours or anybody else's, but I'm just voicing mine. I feel that when you love somebody, you you just love somebody. You can't help the person that you're attracted to. You can't help that, because of what a person has said. Because I think everybody in families, they grow up and they tell you certain things like, okay, make sure it's only this type of person, this type of person, this type of person is acceptable. Make sure this is the type of person that you bring home, okay? Because everybody else don't even bother because we won't accept them. And I think planting those seeds from your childhood, it's very toxic. That's a very toxic behavior. And I know that it may not be everybody's you know way of upbringing, but I can say that it was mine. I grew up that way, in a
And mine
Caribbean
too.
in a Caribbean household, that they have to look this way, they have to make this money, and they have to have this education, or they're not acceptable for you.
Oh, yeah. Or what about he's too rich for you? you know you're not going to live a happy life because they have too much money, too more money than you do, and therefore we're not equal in that sense.
Oh, Miss
I have
Nexie, no, I no,
experienced
I got
that.
no, Miss Nexie, I got the opposite. I got the opposite. It was like, okay, they don't have your education, thus they don't have the same economic status. They don't have the socioeconomic status that you have. So you are going to be in a predicament the rest of your life. Do you want to take care of somebody your whole life? And I'm just saying to myself, everybody can go through a period of time in their life where they're on the low, like when you're in a job, you're in between, you're building your dream. There's things that
Hmm.
happen. It doesn't mean that that person is not a good person. It just means that person could be going through a situation. And I always say, when you have the right person on your side, you can shift any dynamic. You can shift any attitude. Have your heart healed. You can shift from negative to positive. A good relationship can change everything.
Y-
So when people say, "Oh, it's about
yes.
money," they don't
When
have
you
enough money or whatever, that
it,
can all change.
exactly, Miss Marlene. And that's it. When you have the right person next to you, you can go through a 12-year war in a country and remain together and more united. Go through 12 years of literally life in your hands, having nothing. But if you have the right person with you, that doesn't matter. And that's the one thing I always, I didn't understand. I was younger, so you had to pretty much listen to whatever they said because you live under my roof, right? You're my responsibility. You do as I say, kind of like not in those words, but pretty much the message. You're under my roof, therefore you have to do as I say and follow my rules. And I respected that. No problem. Yes, you're right. I live in your under your roof. I live in your house. I eat your food. Yes, you're the one that is responsible for me. But at the same time, I would think I know this person. I know his heart. I know his vision for our future. It wasn't just his future, it was our future. I know I'm going to be happy because I've seen how he treats, his mother, his grandmother, his father, his siblings. And I've seen how good of a person this guy is. And the thing that always drew me, like confused me, was yes, I get it. You love this person, you're in love with them, whatever, but love doesn't make, a marriage last. Love is not everything. And then I will get confused because I will think, then what is everything?
Mm.
Right? If love isn't everything, then why? So I marry for money, but I don't love this person, or he doesn't love me. He's cheating on me. So I should be happy because I have money? Is that what love is? It always
Mm.
confused me, Miss Marlene. I don't know if you went through the same thing.
Oh, Miss Nexie, and this is another thing is you don't you don't marry somebody because of, you know like how my upbringing was. You don't marry somebody because they're affectionate or romantic. You marry somebody because they're a good person, or because of their status, or look at how educated, or
Yeah,
because they're so handsome. That's why
yeah.
you marry somebody.
And because you're gonna have a stable life. You're gonna be very stable. Like you're gonna food on your table, you're gonna have clothing, you're gonna have everything, a good house, a good this, a good that. But you know what I mean? Like the character of that person, the money doesn't match his character. But it doesn't matter though, because you're gonna be secure financially. That was the whole point that people will say. And I never got it. I would always, again, I was always confused. Is okay, so I don't marry for love. So what did you marry for? Did you just marry him because he worked? Or did you marry him because he
No.
had a cow or a house? Or what did you marry? If you weren't in love, why did you get married?
Miss Nexie, here is the answer. I don't know how many are like my upbringing. You got married because at the time, that is what you did. Back in the day, women, when you got to be a certain age, you must get married. And other people would choose and say, that's the person you marry. It didn't matter if you liked them. You didn't have to be attracted to them. You didn't have to see good things in them. They were just a person. Oh yeah, they're stable, they come from a good family, so that's who you should marry. And it's like, what? That does not make any sense.
It doesn't. And then the confusion more for me was when you were already in the relationship and things were hard. They will say, you know what, just love each other. You guys will love what's gonna help you guys navigate through all this. And then I'm like, okay, wait, but you said the love wasn't then. Now,
Yeah. Oh, Miss
right?
Nexie,
It's
and
kind of
here's
confusing. At least it was for me.
right.
Again,
Miss
I would always go back to, okay, but love conquers all. But you're telling me it doesn't. Now you're telling me that I got to use all the love I have for my family and everything so that I can overcome this person that I ended up with because I you didn't allow me to marry the person that I truly loved. So how is this gonna work?
Oh, Miss Nexie, and this is the craziest part about um these type of relationships where
Hello, Miss
people
Marlene. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Yeah,
Yes, I hear you.
my avatar is moving.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay, I'm so sorry. My microphone was acting up earlier, and and
It's okay. No problem.
and I had this little Tarzan here screaming his heart out. So yeah, he's celebrating something. So I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. I
Oh,
apologize.
no,
But
that's
yeah, so
okay.
it always confused me, Miss Marlene, that you don't marry for that. You marry for security. You marry for a stable home. You marry so that your kids can have a good upbringing. But then when things happen, the love for each other is gonna conquer everything. You guys have to love each other so that you can overcome this. A person is sick. Well, with your love, it's gonna heal. Okay, wait a minute. But you said that I shouldn't marry for that. So why am I using something I didn't marry for, didn't have coming into this relationship? How am I going to use that if I didn't have it to begin with? Right? It always confused me. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. I see. It's two people came in. It's Sirius and Flurg. Welcome,
Oh,
guys,
hi, Flirt. Hi, Sirius.
and
Welcome, welcome,
Realist
welcome.
and the
Hi, Realist.
amazing. Yes.
Hi,
Um.
everyone. Nice to see you all.
Yes. Happy Thursday. I keep wanting to say Friday, Miss Next.
It's because you started your weekend too soon.
Yeah.
That's it. It's your
Yeah.
fault. We're on
Okay.
track. You're the one who's
Hold
distracted.
on a second, Miss Nexie. I have to take a call. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. How is everyone doing today? Long time no see, Mr. Realist. Long time no see, Flurg. And long time no see, Serious. Oh, hello, Miss Jackie. I didn't say hi to you. I'm not sure if I did, but if I didn't, I'm saying hello. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened with my phone. It's acting up today. I'm not very, very sure.
Oh, that's
I'm
okay,
sorry
Miss.
about that.
That's okay,
My
Miss
phone is
Nexie.
acting up. I was trying to, chat with everyone and then it started going a little cray cray. So
No,
sorry about that, Miss Marley. Uh-oh, did I lose you again, Miss Marlene? Oh no, Miss Marlene left the building. Miss Marlene, did you leave us? Do you don't want
No,
to
it
you don't want to
no,
talk to us anymore?
you know what? You know what happened? As soon as I said, "Yeah, we can hear you," it kicked me out.
I told it to do that. Sorry.
So, okay, Miss Nexie,
I was like, I
this is
can't be
what I
alone on
wanted to
this.
say. This is what I wanted to say about this, Miss Nexie. I think
Mhm.
something is ridiculous. I don't know how many people have experienced it, but I think it's ridiculous when people listen to friends, quote unquote, or family, quote unquote, or people who are single, not even in a relationship. They're giving you advice about your entire life. They don't live in your shoes. They haven't been through the things that you've been through. And I'm not saying that looks is everything, but I think it's important to have an attraction to the person that you're with. You need to be attracted to that person because I don't know. I feel like it's too weird to be in a relationship with somebody and not like think that they're attractive. I call me petty, but I think it's important to be in a relationship and be like, I'm with somebody and you say they're handsome or vice versa, they're beautiful. there has to be something in there. And back in the day, they used to be like, "Oh, looks don't matter." I was like, I don't want to be married to a person who looks like a lizard. I was like, no, it's not happening for me.
For me, looks are not, they're important. I'll be lying if I said they weren't. I mean, that's the attraction is there, right? But sometimes I have met people that are very attractive, and the minute they open their mouth, that fades away. So for me, someone with good conversation, intelligent, and regardless of the look, that is, I think, for me, what attracts me to someone, how smart they are, the way the conversation flows between, us. And I have been with friends that have this beautiful, like handsome and tall and whatever partners, males or females, and I'm like, I listen to the way they talk, their communication skills, the way they behave, and I'm thinking, why are you with this person? But I keep it to myself because I have no right to say that. I have no,
but
I shouldn't be saying things like that.
but
But I don't
but
like when people butt into mine.
But Miss Nexie, the thing that I don't understand is most of us that are kind of in the lane of or of the thought of we mind our own business. Why do people always feel that they have the right to tell you who to be with and who to like and oh yeah, they're a good person and they're saying all these good things and I was like, if you are so crazy about why don't you marry them? I was like, why it's like what? Oh yeah, they're a good person. I was like, you should be. And then they get mad when you're like, no, I'm sorry. I just if you don't feel something for somebody, you don't feel something, and it doesn't matter how much you can try to rationalize or whatever. There has to be an attraction, and also there has to be some things that draw you to them, like things that just the way they are. And some people
Hmm.
it's just like what do you call like flatline. Some people it's just is zero personality. It's like no, it's no, it's not. It would never work. Oh, Miss Nexie, thank you
And you,
for
yeah, and you
this
should be aware.
super sticker. I know what you want, Miss Nexie. I know what you want. You want to see the panda. That's all you had to say. All right.
It's all
When the
for
super chat
realists.
hits,
That's all I'm doing it for.
oh, for realists? Okay. Shout
Yes,
out
it's
to
for
realists.
realists.
Oh, you got your panda. Okay. Thank you, Miss Nexie.
You're welcome, Miss Marlene. I just wanted to make realist weekend fun. I know how much he loves that panda. You know,
Realist is like, bruh.
I want to tell you about my experience. When I was younger back home, I fell in love with this boy. Very, very nice boy.
Ooh,
He
oh,
was
hold on, Miss
probably.
Nexie. Hold on. You got to
Uh-oh.
first say, here is the tea, everybody.
Oh,
Pull
here's the
yourself up
tea,
a
everybody.
chair, pour your drink,
No, no,
have
just a quick because of what we're talking about. I
mm,
really liked my first
okay, Miss
boyfriend.
Nexie.
My first supposed to be my first boyfriend, so-called boyfriend, because we really couldn't talk or be together because my family wouldn't let me. My sister was the one that was taking care of me at this point, and I was 15, I think, 15 years old, and he was 18. Yeah, he was 18.
Ooh, ooh, hold on, Miss Nexie. Pause, time out.
So, but
16? Oh, hold up.
yes, but Miss Marlene, it wasn't like that.
Mm,
Not that type.
Okay, I was about to say, child.
You are so sick minded. But anyway, so we used to talk like we used to hang at church. We used to hang around Bible studies or whatever, and I really liked him because what his goal was, he was going to school and he wanted to become a missionary, and he wanted us to, we were going to go to the university and we're going to study and get, degrees like in social work and social studies, so we can, become missionaries and help, because that was what really attracted me to him. And I think that's what attracted him to me, is that we were always helping. We were always doing for others. I was always volunteering for different villages in my, in my town, and, poor villages that we had to go feed or whatever. I was always volunteering, and he was always there with me too. He was always doing the same thing. So that, I think that's what attracted us to each other. But long story short, my family, no, no, no. He's too much older than you. You're too young for this. You should be concentrating on something else. Another thing is, they're not wealthy. They're not well off. The family is just the father worked, and the kids went to school, and they don't really have any means. So how are you guys going to support each other? So the whole thing back and forth, many other things in between, they stopped us from being together. And I had not seen him in so long, and I really loved this boy. I was really, really in love. That was my first love, I think, that I knew what the feeling was. And he married someone from, where we lived, and they're missionaries. They go to different countries. They help a lot of people in my country. He's always out and about, saving the world, which is what we wanted to do. It's always what we wanted to do. And they have a very, very happy marriage. They have 3 kids, and they've been together for almost 30 years now.
Mm.
And
So,
and that and that my sister, and this is why I wanted to say this to you, my sister, when she told me this, because I have not seen him in a long time. Whenever I go back home, I just visit my family and stuff, and I don't really, go out or look for people. It's for me, it's like, why, dig out the past. That was a very dark period in my time, so I didn't want to dig it up. So I never asked. But my sister one day was telling me that she saw him, and that that he asked for me and how I was doing. And she's like, they were getting ready to go to um um gosh, she told me the place, but I forgot. But it was another country. They were getting ready to go there for a year as missionaries, and they were um, we're Catholic, so they were doing that. And she's like, and he asked me how you were doing, and that he always has a big place in his heart for you, and that he hoped that you had followed your dreams of becoming also a missionary. And my sister told me that she actually apologized. Says, I am so sorry that I stopped you from being with this good man. And she says, I feel so guilty because I feel that because of me and my opposition and not allowing you to be with him, you ended up with the person that you ended up with. She says, and I feel so guilty because you could have been so happy, and I sent you to unhappiness because of my wrong way of thinking. And I was like, whoa.
wow. Yeah, well,
And
at least Miss Nexie, at least in with your sister, you got an apology, and they said they were, and she said she was sorry, and my family, they're like, well, that we were just doing what was best for you. It's like people are grown. Oh, I went to say hi to Nate. Welcome.
oh, hi,
Um,
Nate.
yeah, but it's that's so messed up what happened to you, Miss Nexie. And if you don't mind, sharing, Miss Nexie, about this, you know, feeling that you had and this person that you like, the one that you felt got away. Was the issue why you couldn't be with him because of what we discussed earlier? Or was it because of race, or was it just the age?
It was not the age so much because in my country, we get married young. So it wasn't so much that. It was mostly because of um, money for the economic part, I will say. They weren't, they were poor. They were poor people. I'm not saying we were rich because we weren't um, uh, any better, like 50% better than them, but we had more means than they did. They were very, very poor. So I feel that my sister, mostly because again, she was the one that will send me. I couldn't even go to the store by myself. I would have to go with my nieces or my nephews, and anything that they will see, they will come tell my sister. So it will be like, you know what I mean? Like I was never left alone to be able to kind of date this boy. The only time I was able to see him was over there. So my sister didn't even know them that well, but because they weren't well off, and I don't want to put words in her mouth, but also I feel that because she had married someone that was older and also um, educated, she probably wanted it something like that for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't want me to go probably struggle in life. But I always thought, struggle with someone you love, it makes a lot of, it makes it worthwhile because you're struggling together to become better, to, help others, to do this, to do that. And once that would once that got stopped for me, the disillusion of I couldn't marry this person that was probably the closest to a perfect match for me, like my soulmate, like the person that I could have gone through an entire lifetime together. When that didn't happen, and I'm being honest here, Miss Marlene, I didn't care anymore after that, in a sad way. Like I didn't care anymore. But it had to do a lot discriminating the fact that they weren't as well off as we were.
Yeah, that's wow.
I feel that that's
That's
what it was.
something, Miss Nexie. That's something. I'm so sorry that you had to, go through that. So, batter up. It's Marlene's turn. My
Let me sit
perspective
down. Let me put my
away.
let me grab my whiskey. Let me grab my whiskey. I don't even drink.
pour pour your whiskey and you don't even drink. Anywho, um,
Exactly.
for me, mine was somebody in when I was all through because back in the day, when you used to go to school, you used to be in the same classes with people who had your very close to your last name, like alphabetical order. So
Mhm.
it was like all through school. I mean, probably since second grade, I had liked this guy. And it was already, my mom was like, nope, there, girl, you better don't even. It's like, because I was like, because I know what. But it was a race issue, and I think that's sad. Like, why does it always have to be you have to stick with your race, to each his or her own. I'm not telling nobody what to do, but from I was younger, I've always been attracted to um just people who were lighter skin. That's just my personal preference. I'm not saying that
Mhm.
for everybody, but that was just my personal preference. And it was always adamantly like, no way. Like, you better not bring them over here, or, all this stuff. And that they're no good. And this. I was like, how can you judge a whole race of people because of maybe a situation that happened to you? No. So,
Mm.
and that always made me sad because it was all the way from probably second grade all the way till we finished high school. The same. It was like that energy was always there, and
Oh,
it never went anywhere because of that. It was always like, you know, he wanted to. It was like he was always like, hey, you know. And I wanted to too, but I knew there was no way because I would never, it would never have been supported. There would have been a lot of drama.
oh,
And
how
yeah,
sad.
and I would have been, I think, abandoned basically by my family. Like I could have done it, sure, but at the same time, I knew if I did, I would have been cut off. So it
Oh
was
my
one of
God, that is
those.
so sad. I'm so sorry.
It was one of those
I am
situations,
so
and
sorry.
even till today, Miss Nexie, because I've seen him since, and still, of course, now he's married and everything, but still, he when I see him, my heart still flutters.
I know, right? I got
Yeah.
pictures sent too, and my heart was like skipping up. I was like, oh my God! And you know one thing I do this, and I'm sorry you went through that, Miss Marlene. For me, it's different because I didn't grow up here, right? I grew up in El Salvador, back home. We are colorblind over there. We have all kinds of different people, all kinds of colors, all kinds of everything. So we don't really have that. You cannot marry this person. No, we marry who we want to as we get older, of course. But when we're teenagers, we really go by what our parents say, right? Nowadays is different. Kids are doing whatever they want. But for me, it was sadder when I came here because I thought it was like an isolated thing for me. Like, oh my God, my family did this. They didn't want me to. They stopped me from being happy, whatever. But when I came to America and I started, kind of listening to shows sometimes, or I will see movies that were based on real life, and I will see how much more um, it happened here than probably in my country. It will make me so sad because I will think like, how could it be that they will stop you from marrying someone because of the color of their skin? Because that person, you didn't want that person in your family, but you're not the one marrying them, right? They're in love, and they're so, and I don't know if you had like the same compatibility with this person, Miss Marlene, that you pretty much grew up with, but we're so alike that the chances of not being able to grow old together, because liking the same things, thinking pretty much the same way, you go through life happy. The conflicts are lesser because you pretty much think alike. And so I will always get really sad and say, you know what, I wonder what will happen later on in life when they realize that they probably will never be with someone, or that this person will never be as happy as if they would have allowed them to be together. Like, for me, is I always go back to the moment that I realize, okay, it will never be. It will never be able to be because, my sister stopping me. The boy will be harassed by my siblings, and my brother-in-law, because he also raised me too. He was a very good man. He is a very good man, and he also will talk and say, you can't date her, and all these people in between. So I knew it was coming to the point where he was going to get tired as well because he was getting so harassed. And now I'm thinking,
Mm,
what if none of that would have happened? Would we still be together today? And I'm thinking, yes. I feel
mm,
that we would have still be together if they would have not done that. Now with you and here in America, when I came and saw all of the many, many couples that couldn't be together just because of the color of their skin, it was so mind blowing to me. I didn't
yep.
understand because I didn't see it. Like, I don't see it. Like, I don't get what's the skin color have anything to do with loving someone?
And
Like I get
Miss
money,
Nexie.
right? They worry.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah,
Miss
yeah.
Nexie, something I gotta add, something I have to add to this. Okay, I understand what people are saying because the race issue, being with somebody of your same race. But what about you go for somebody of your same race, and they treat you like crap, treat you like garbage, scum.
Thank
So
you.
you did what they wanted to, and then it doesn't work out. But what if you had followed your heart and been with somebody who actually really loves you and would have been nice and kind to you? So that's one of the things that I think about sometimes. Like, I wish I would have been stronger, to say
Me
this is
too.
what I'm gonna do, and I don't care what anybody has to say. But I got to highlight this comment from Nate. He says, outside interference will always influence your choice on who you choose. You got to follow your own intuition. And that is true. You do have to follow your intuition, but there are a lot of factors in that. If you don't have, things together, like you don't have the money, you're living in someone's house, you're struggling financially, you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to do whatever I want,
Miss
because then you'll
Marlene,
have to get out.
I gotta I gotta add something to that. I gotta add
Go
something
ahead.
to what you're saying. Forget living into somebody's house. We are both Caribbean race, right? You know that you do not go and do whatever you want if your parents say no. We're brought up that way. That is hammered into our heads since birth. We do as our parents say. We follow what they say. If they don't approve on what we're wearing, on what who we're dating, we break up with that person because that's what let we've been indoctrinated that they know better than anybody else. And if you go against
Hmm.
that, then you are sinning. You are breaking the law. You are
Yeah.
the black sheep of the family. You are ostracized from everyone
Hmm.
if you dare to go against your parents' wishes. And I'm taking the liberty here to say that you and I have been brought up this way because
Hmm.
we talk, outside of our podcast, and we always talk about how similar our upbringings were and how similar our families are. So when you are young, I say here that my kids, if I would have said you cannot date that person, my daughter would have been like, "You're funny." Oh my God, stop joking, mom. It's too early for jokes, right? My daughters would have probably never. I would have never done that to them anyway. Never. I never did, but I would not go there because they have to be able to choose who they want to live the rest of their lives with, if possible, because it's their own choice. It cannot be mine, and I shouldn't influence. But on us, it was different because you are in a dictatorship. I'm sorry, I have to say this.
Yeah, it's
I'm
true. It's
sorry,
true,
I
Miss
have to.
Nexie.
You are in a dictatorship. They tell you everything you have to do. You cannot do as you wish, as you want, as you please, because it's going against not just your mom and dad, it's going against everything you've known since you're born. Meaning your sisters, your brothers, they're gonna not talk to you. They're gonna say, you know what, you're not part of our family until mom and dad are okay with you again. Because they fear that they're gonna be in the same boat as you if they take your side.
And
So,
Miss Nexie, I have to add
uh-huh,
something to that. I've known somebody who followed their heart, and they stuck to their guns, and they went off, they got married, happy, been together for so many years, and guess what? They are cut off from their family because the
yep,
family never accepted that person. So it's all about choices. Yes, she's very happy. I see her all the time. She's very happy in her relationship, but she has zero relationship with her family because they're like, you made your choice, you chose him over us.
you
And
chose,
I
yeah,
think
yeah, that's the
and
thing. You
I
chose them
think that's
over us.
wild.
That's
That's
wrong.
wild. Yeah.
That is so wrong, Miss Marlene. I'm sorry, but that is so wrong. You chose him over. What do you mean? You want me to marry you? I can say this now because I'm older. I'm wiser. I have my own money. I live my own life, and I have gotten desensitized from all the, you're supposed to obey, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to follow, you're supposed to. So all of that is no longer in my head. Thank God for that. I can think on my own now. I'm grown. But when you're younger, the way we're thinking, the way we're speaking right now is not even heard of in our families. You
It,
do
it,
as you're
it's
told.
it's it's something, it's not optional. A lot of people just don't understand how an upbringing is for a child of an immigrant. It's different.
Hmm.
It's like, I'm not saying that there's not issues in America with American parents, but I'm saying
There is.
it's different when it's like your parent had to make a choice on whether you're going to eat or no. It's different, it's a
Well, yeah,
different.
what we're talking about, again, you just said it, immigrant parents. We're talking about two different, even though we're in this country, our culture doesn't die because we're here.
Right.
We can
Hmm.
escape it a little, if we're clever enough, but I got caught every time. Never mind that. But you can kind of try to get away with certain things, but you're not going to, because even though you immigrate to this country, you bring those certain beliefs here too. And,
Hmm.
I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be different. I wanted it to be, um, I wanted my kids to be able to tell me things, to be able to decide for themselves. Of course, if I didn't think that, that person wasn't, that I felt some type of way, I will voice it, right? I wouldn't say you can't date them. I would just say, I don't know, I feel a certain way about this person, but if you like him, then that's fine. They will find out later on, Mom, you were right. It was kind of weird. This person is weird or has this certain habits I don't like. So I said, I wanted to do that with my children. I wanted them to be able to choose who they married, who they date, who they friend, befriend, who they do whatever they wanted to do with, because it's their choice at the end, it's their lives, and that's the only way I knew they were going to be independent and choose the right things, right? But for us, it's
Exactly.
different because for us is we're here in America, our friends are going out having fun, but you're not going anywhere because guess what? I don't care
Hmm.
who blah 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 is doing, you're not going anywhere.
Hmm.
But social is
Well,
dating,
listen.
yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, my mom used to say, "You're in America, but you're still in Jamaica." I'm like, that makes no sense. I heard that my whole life. I was like, what? I was like, "You're in
Yeah,
America, but you're in Jamaica." I was like, what?
no.
That's
Oh no,
ridiculous.
I got so now you think you're American, huh? Oh, look at her. She's American now. I'm like, oh my God. So you couldn't really do much because the fear is always there, right? They're always, making sure that you're guilted into living your own life. And in a way, it's good because it protects you from certain things, but at the same time, there is a bad side of that. Your confidence doesn't develop the right way, it develops later. You miss out on wonderful people and probably people that, like the topic today, the men probably that were going to be our partners, our soulmates. You miss on that because you didn't have the courage to go against that wave of people that you were going to lose. So, it's sad that you don't get to experience sometimes the amount of dating and other things that American kids can get to do now. We didn't get to experience that because our parents wouldn't allow it. And
Oh
sometimes, in
no,
order to
Miss.
escape that hold, you get married, and sometimes to the wrong person.
Yeah, Miss Nexie, and that's what I see. A lot of my friends, just because, just to do like that, I'm going to do whatever I want, be independent, and all of these things. They jump into situations. It's like jumping from the the coal, the the hot
The
pan
pit
to
to the
the
fire.
coals. Yeah, because they just want to get away, and that's not the way, but that's what a lot of people do. And I've known too, a lot of people go absolutely wild, hand in the air, I'm putting my hand up, go absolutely wild when they turn 18, because it's like, yeah, now what can you do?
Yeah, yeah. No, no, it's funny because if you get to live, like if you get to be able to be 18, and and still be like kind of single, you know not ready to get married, I think I would have probably discovered all the freedom I would have had, right, if I would have waited. Unfortunately, I got married very young too, because again, you just want to get away. You think that by getting married, you're gonna be able to remove those shackles, right, and say, oh my god, that's it, I don't have to live under their rules anymore. But then you
Miss
go to someone that you have to follow certain rules now, and you're married. So
Yeah. No,
yeah.
Miss Nexie, all you do is when you get married is you replace your childhood rules for married rules.
Yes, ma'am. And again, it's different. It's different when you have, like, I see my kids, they're married. My daughters, they dated, different people, and they ended up with the person they chose, the person that was closest to, I guess, their way of thinking, that they got along better. But they dated, they had the opportunity to date different people and find the right person for them. They didn't do it because I was stopping them from enjoying life, or I wasn't allowing them to date. They didn't get married at 20, they got married in their 30s. And that for me is a beautiful thing, because my kids got to enjoy their youth. They got to date, they got to enjoy something that I didn't get to do, because everything was so restrictive, that the only escape I had is by, getting married and having a house of my own, which just was from one prison to the next.
Hmm. Oh,
From one
Miss
prison
Nexie,
got to the next, to the new one.
Miss Miss Nexie, guess what's funny? I thought in my wild stage, and when I think about my wild stage, that's not wild according to American standards. For me, going wild in my family's culture is wearing shorts, okay? Going out by yourself. I went out dancing. Like, yeah. And they're like, she is out of control. And it's like, wow, really?
I know. I'm telling you, Miss Marlene, I had not traveled by myself anywhere. Like I will go with my children. Once I started having kids, and then I will go with my spouse before the kiddos. And then if I will go, let's say, visit my mom, I will go. I will drive. If I will drive alone, which was never, I will drive, and then my mom will be waiting for me there, or my brother's there. So I never went on a vacation just me, ever, until I got separated. And I'm talking about what, my 40s, my mid 40s. That was the first time that I said, "Oh, I can do all this." It took me up until this, probably 2 years into my separation. I took a weekend to Las Vegas by myself, and I
Oh,
was
you went
freaking
wild.
out. Just a weekend, and I was crying because I didn't know there was nobody there waiting for me. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know what to do. And I started crying in the room. I spent like the first 12 hours of my trip locked in my room. Like, well, so what do I do now? Should I go down? Should I go?
Yeah, but Miss Nexie, honestly, there's a lot of people that are very affected by childhood indoctrination and their
Yes.
pushing their fears, their insecurities, and what you should be and what you should like. It took me a long time as a woman to learn to replace, no, that's what they want from me. I had to learn, what do I want for myself? Who am I? What do I identify? What do I like? What do I want to do? Not what other people want me to do. And and some people I know till this day, they've never, they got married young to somebody they don't even like, and they're just
Hmm.
tolerating the person they're with because they have kids with them, and they're very unhappy and miserable, and they're looking at you like, oh, and that's why some people hate you, because you have the courage to say, I'm not following that. No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do my own thing. So that's one of the things about a person who gets away. Yes, at a certain point, it was a lot of the fault of the people who did things to you, tell you stuff, tell you that's not a good person, and you believed it. But also, we have to assume accountability too. We allowed it.
Hmm.
We
We
let
allowed
them
it to
let
happen.
them yeah, we allowed it to happen. We didn't say, no, this is what I want. We didn't really fight for the relationship that we wanted. We kind of just like, well, I don't want to disappoint them. And we chose to the love of our relatives more than the love of our heart.
Yes, ma'am. That is 100% true. Because for me, it was more like, I don't want to hurt my father's feelings. I don't want to hurt my sister who's raised me since I was a baby. I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to disappoint her. I don't want her to feel that that I love her less than I love him. So you start guilting yourself, and conveniently guilting yourself into, maybe I should do as they say, right? Because that way I'm going to keep my entire family, and we're going to have, I'm going to marry someone they like, and then, we're all going to be together all the time with our kiddos, and that is not necessarily always the case. And when you grow up and you grow out of this dictatorship, you learn that sometimes, as you say, because they are unhappy, they don't want to see you happy.
Hmm. Yeah, it's that, and also, they because they grew up with very narrow-minded thinking. They grew up controlled by fear of being an independent person. I know some women till this day, Miss Nexie, they have never even had a bank account.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Miss Nexie. I mean, that's how deep the that Caribbean control is. They like, if they needed money, it would be like their dad or their brother, and then now they're older, they're married, now it's their husband giving money. They've never made their own money because they left home, and became a housewife and then became a mother. So they've never worked their entire life. They don't know what
Wow.
it's like to be independent, to have their own anything, their own car, their own money, their own thoughts. Everything is they've always done their whole life what other people tell them that they should do. And I feel so sad for those people because I've been there and done that, but it was around my 20s when I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, why
Hmm.
do I have to listen to what you have to say? And then, of course, there's going to be pushback. There's going to be anger, jealousy, and then, of course, with my relatives, it was, you were ungrateful.
Yeah. And your parents, she's going to be the death of us. This one is a punishment.
Yeah, it was one of those. What did we ever do to deserve this? Oh, and the guilt. Here comes the guilt, Miss Nexie. What did we ever do to deserve this? We thought we were
Yes.
good parents.
We were such good parents to you. Why are you paying us back with the disappointments that you're paying us back? And I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. I didn't know I was supposed to pay you back.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
you should have told me
It
that. I
makes
would have behaved better.
Miss Nexie, it makes absolutely no sense. And that's one of the reasons why I always say I'm glad that at this point, it's a point where I've healed. I learned to voice myself and to do the things that I like. And it took me a long time to like, I not feel guilty to go out by myself or to take a trip or to do something I wanted to do without feeling that I had to check in with anybody. I had to get their approval. They had
Yeah,
to validate it. Yeah, it was all those
and that
things.
goes
So,
into the dating thing too. You are able to date
mm-hmm,
who you want, whether they like it or not. It's like you date who you want. I don't care. You don't like it because of whatever. Hey, that's on you. That's a you problem. As long as I'm happy and as long as I'm compatible with this person, and that's the thing that it takes a very long time to get there. But once you do, you start going back, going back in life and saying, I've dated, my share of let's say, man, right? Us. We have dated some guys out there. And then you start going back and saying, but it doesn't feel like you felt with the one that got away. It
mm-hmm,
doesn't feel like I felt with him. It feels the same like if I'm just settling for this person. Like if I don't know, it's just weird. It's
yeah,
an emptiness that it leaves in your heart when you have had, that first love. If you break up with that person because of your differences or whatever, you actually get on with your life and get over it because it was because you guys didn't get along. So it's like, okay, cool. We don't get along. That's good. I love them. He was my first love. But you know what? Hey, maybe there's something better for me out there. But when you know you already have that best and it's taken away from you because of bigotry or whatever you want to call it, that's when I think that hole in your heart never heals, never gets closed, never gets filled. I don't know.
but
That's the way I look at my
but you, but
situation.
But for me, I feel healing now through my elevation, and it helped me to widen my lens, not just in, bigotry, but in so many things, because me healing, me stepping up and doing certain things now, it's helped the next generation. I'm so proud now to see my nieces and nephews and other younger people, just living like people think it's nothing, but seeing my little niece go to the store by herself, or go to a prom, and she doesn't have to be accompanied by a brother, or this she doesn't have to have the bodyguards, or
Oh
like
my
have
God, you
somebody
remember
at the
that?
back of the
Oh,
car.
oh my God. Oh my God, I hated that. But you always have to be chaperone.
Yeah, you always have to be. I call them bodyguards because I have no life. And my brothers used to say that to me. You have no life until you're 18. So I want you to know that. And we're always watching you.
Yeah, they didn't
And I
tell me it
did
was
it. And I
18.
did it.
No, they told me they were gonna watch me for the rest of my life. I should have known it was gonna end at
Oh, you
18, but
got
I
the rest
didn't
of
know.
it. No, they told me 18.
Yeah, yeah, you were lucky. No,
Yeah,
but
I got 18.
yeah, that's the thing. Healing does that. Yes, it does that. It makes you realize that you can make a difference in somebody else's life through what your experiences, through what you have gone through, and
Hmm.
maybe advise them in, what, give it a try. If it doesn't work out because of you two, then it's different than because your mom is telling you, or your dad or your grandparents, right? If it doesn't work
Hmm.
out between the two of you because of, you guys are not compatible, you guys don't love each other, whatever it is, at least you're not going to have any regrets. Like, I have moved
Yeah.
on. Yes, I know that. I moved on. I had my family, I had my husband. We did a great job with our kids. We work hard to support them and everything. But as time goes by and you start kind of like looking at your life, you always wonder, I wonder what I would have been now if I would have stayed with that person, right? I wonder how far we would have done in our, you know, helping the world if I would have stayed with that person. I wonder, how many people, how many children we would have been able to help and bring closer to God if I would have stayed with that person. Because that's the thing that I go through, because this person was my first love, the one that I wanted to marry, that he was like the beacon for my life. It was just we were so compatible, Miss Marlene. We were so alike and the same heart, which is something that is very, very rare to find when
Very
you
rare.
share the same heart with that person. Where we're both like that, and I always think like that. Not that I do well in it, because I don't. Right? I will be a hypocrite. I will say, "Oh, I got stuck. I never married. I didn't have children because of my first love." No, that's not what happened. But it does always, when I'm going through something or I see something on TV of, missionaries or something at church, and I always go back to, God, I wonder if we would have been involved in something like this. I don't know. Maybe because, my ex-husband was nothing like that. Nothing about humanitarian help, nothing. He doesn't
Mm,
think of anything like that. Maybe that's why I always go back to that, because I am that one person that always likes to help everybody and always wants to alleviate, hunger, pain, whatever I can do to help people. And my husband was the total opposite. I think that's probably why too I always went back to thinking, God, if I would have stayed with this person, I would have done so much more than I have done by myself.
exactly. And it's one of those things that you can't do anything about the past, but what you can do is that's one of the reasons why I love my platform and why I changed this channel to talk about important topics, because before this used to be a reviews channel, and I still have
Yes.
those videos up on here, but I feel like I have a more profound stamp. I have a message to share with people. Like, I feel like it's not just like surface level. Like, we go down deep into our hearts and talk about certain things that a lot of people would never share. And
Hmm.
I'm grateful that I can talk about things like, there was a time where I didn't love myself enough. There was a time where I chose family over my heart. There was a time where I didn't think I could do things because of the projections and the fears and the insecurities, the judgments, the bigotry, and the list goes on for in the past. But I'm grateful that I learned those things, because I can take everything that I learned, snowball it, bring it to this app, and share with others and say, please, if you ever find somebody and you love them, you agree to things, you feel like this person is your soulmate, you should go for it.
Hmm.
Forget relatives, forget what society says, forget it.
Hmm.
This is your life. Maybe it will work out, maybe it won't, but at least you can know you don't always have to have those feelings of regret and the shoulda, woulda, couldas, and what would have, that's the stuff
Hmm.
that still till this day gets on my nerves. Wishing it's like, because you can't undo that. You
You
can't
can't.
undo a
You
decision
can't.
that you made. Yeah.
You can't. And you can't go back, as you say. But the beautiful thing, that, like, besides this, that we get to share and everything, is that nowadays, people can choose who they stay, who they're with. They're not stopped because of their skin color or because of their money or because of anything. They can literally just do it if they want to. They can, women can support themselves now. We don't have to stay with someone because the breadwinner, and we don't know how to do anything. It's so different than it was before. But I feel that we still sometimes allow people to kind of derail us a little bit from our way of thinking or our way of feeling just because we want to please. But we have to make sure that who we're picking and what we're doing, it's okay with us. As long as we don't hurt anybody else around us, I mean, physically, and we don't deprive them of their food, their whatever, then if we're not hurting people like that, then we got to live our lives because it's
Mhm.
life is too short.
Yeah, and you know what, Miss Nixie, and that takes a lot of courage. It takes a person with
Yes.
what do you call Miss Nixie, cajones?
Cajones. Cajones, Miss Marlene. Cajones.
Yeah, you have to have that. It's that zhuzh. It's all of those things wrapped up into one. You have to be a very strong person to go for what you want and forget everybody else, because at the end of the day, you can always say it worked out or it didn't work out, but I knew that I followed my heart. I gave it a
Yes.
try.
It was my decision. Whether it worked out or
Mhm.
not, it was I who decided it. So whatever side of the pie I have to eat, and you know what kind of pie I'm talking about. I chose that pie. So I get to decide that. And it's on me, and I will enjoy my piece of pie because it was my decision. But when I have to eat that pie that somebody else baked for me, and I have to eat it now and like it because it was decided for me, that's when those regrets come. I
Mhm,
feel that
mhm,
that's when they come even stronger because you're like, this is not even what I wanted, but I wasn't brave enough to do this, say no, or brave enough to stick around and deal with the blows and whatever, and just stick around until I was of age to decide for myself, right?
mhm.
And so for me, it's something that taught me a great lesson. And as you go through life, you start seeing that, hey, yeah, family is important. We're not saying it isn't. But as you become an adult and an independent adult, it is the life from that day on, as you reach adulthood, is your own. Your family is there for support, yeah, whatever, but you're on your own. So whatever you choose to do, that's going to be your family from that day forward. Who you choose to be
Mhm.
with. You know what I mean? Your immediate
Exactly.
family is going to be everything. Your parents are an extension of you, your siblings, and you don't even see them all the time. You see them from sunshine because we're all busy and working and whatever. So that's when I started going back and saying, "Gosh, I should have just been brave and more brave. No, I should have just stuck around more. I should have not allowed them to deter this." But when you're young and insecure and not mature enough, you really don't know that this is what happens in life.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's lack of maturity, but also it's knowing that you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay whether a person likes it or not. And I feel some type of way about one of my friends, and she did that. She stuck to her guns because her family, what you could call blacklisted her. She's the black sheep.
Oh,
She's,
wow.
all of these things.
Yes.
She hasn't talked to her family in like what 10, 11 years because of who she
Oh,
chose to
wow.
marry. And I think that's so sad. But the crazy part about it is she got a good person, you know? Yeah, in the beginning, I was kind of nervous too myself, but I supported her decision. And the guy, he started his own business. He's successful, as you could say, monetarily now. But at the time, you're like, oh, he's a bum. But she said she saw the
Hmm.
potential in him. She believed in him. And I think when you have the right person, it does not matter. Like, you could have probably only two nickels, between the two of you, but you can take that two nickels and make it $10 million if you are,
Exactly.
supportive, encourage. Yeah, you can do anything with that.
I've seen
um
people, Miss Marlene, back home that actually did, they married whoever, they ran away, or they eloped, as you say, right? Uh, and the families have been they haven't met their grandchildren, they haven't met their great grandchildren, because the person is not allowed back into the family because they married against the parents' wishes. And the siblings, they have to see her, or see these people in secrecy, because if the mom knows that you went to see the sister that they disowned, and that they don't speak of anymore, and the name is not mentioned in any dinners or birthday parties or whatever, they get upset at you because you're still having a relationship when she has disrespected the family this way. And I've known people like that
Mhm.
for years. The grandparents never meet the grandkids because they don't want to give in to say, hey, you know what, maybe I was wrong. Maybe the fact that my daughter knew better than me and married this man, they don't want to be proven wrong. And I think that's what it is that they don't want to be wrong. They want to be the victims. They don't think about the victimization on their daughter's part or their son's part. Because it's happened to men too. When they married a woman that, the parents don't want, they get ostracized as well. And I've seen it both ways. And it's so
Yeah.
sad because they miss out on getting to know their grandkids,
I
the
know.
extension of
Oh,
their life. It's so sad.
and to add to that, that's the friend that I'm referring to. They got married right out of high school. Well, she was finished high school. He had dropped out because he already had his plan in his mind. She married him. He had a GED, and he didn't have anything, but he always talked about he was going to have a construction business. And the family was like, "Oh, please, you're going to be taking care of him for the rest of your life. He's a loser. He's nobody." But
Hmm.
she didn't care. She went off and married him, and I'm telling you now, Miss Nexty, she's
That's a
very
no no.
wealthy. Yeah, she's very wealthy now. But like Realist says, she believed in him, and that's rare. She chose, well, I hate that it has to be that way. She chose him over her quote unquote family. But to me, that was never really her family. Those were just
No.
relatives.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I say. Yes, Miss Marlene, you're so
Mhm,
right. Sorry to cut you off, but you're so on point. They're relatives, not
mhm.
family, because family doesn't do that to you.
Yep. And now they want to be, and they are always talking to me. Oh, have you talked to her? Because they can see, in my city, you can see all the trucks that has their business name. It's all over the place. And now I know every time they drive past or they see stuff with their name on it, they kick themselves. And she's cut them off too. And she's like, I don't want nothing to do because you didn't believe in us.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
at one point, as you get older, Miss Marlene, that's what we're saying. As you get older, you start realizing that what they did was selfish. Maybe they did it out of, love for you or whatever. But, the fact that they put you in that position it's selfishness. It's being selfish. They can talk to you and say, hey, you're too young. Why don't you wait a few more years to do this? But if you say, no, I want to do it now, support is the only thing you need from them, the love that they have for you. And their support it can take you far, far away in any situation. But when they put those limits and either my way or the highway, either you stick with us because we are your blood relatives, or you go with the stranger that we don't approve of, but
You're right.
you disconnect from the entire family because we want nothing to do with you because you didn't choose us. That is so. But as you get older, you realize that that's just not really a decision that I don't know, not a decision, but I feel that as you get older, you realize that's not the right way to love someone when you're dictating everything they do in life. Either you love me 100% and do as I say, or we don't love you 100%. That is so weird.
Yeah, and you know what, Miss Nexie, I always said, even if it was a terrible decision, maybe the relationship didn't work out and they divorced. A family is supposed to say, regardless what, because I know I've been to weddings and and everybody's looking crazy like I don't know about this one. but but you're there, you're there, you know, because it's their decision to
Exactly.
make. Whether I always say, ride or die, rise or fall, I'm going to support you. And to me, that's what family is. It's not about what I think or what I like, you know. And I'm going to be honest with you, Miss Nexley. I put my 2 cents in years ago. I was like, "Are you sure about him?" And she says, "Yeah." She said, he's a good apple." She said, "I got a good one." And I was like, "Okay."
But you know
I
that. You
I
know
was
that.
wrong too.
Yes,
Hmm.
but you know that. But you didn't turn your back on her. That's the difference. Is that when they are
No, I
pushing
didn't.
you to the breaking point, either your family that you've known since birth or this other person that you're going into a new life with, that fear is real. You're like, I'm not going to abandon my
Mm-hmm.
family for someone that I don't know, even though love shouldn't be strong enough for that. But you need maturity as well for that. You need to have, like you say, the cojones to say, you know what? I know we're only 18. I know we're going to be struggling, but I know and I believe in him that we're going to do everything that we are putting our minds into right now. But for that, it takes a lot of courage. A lot.
Yeah, and I'm so proud of her. You know, I told her that later. I was like, "Girl, you know, in the beginning when you got married, I doubted you." And she said, "I know." And she said, "I know." She said, "But you were the only." She said, "You and just a few other people were honest with me and said, I don't really agree with your decision because I told her that I don't agree." I was like, "But I'm going to support you."
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And that's the point. It's just all you need is their support. You don't need anything else. You're not, and the thing is that you're not even asking them for money or a place to live in. You're just asking for support, and they make you feel like you're asking them for money and a place to live in, and for them to pay
Exactly.
for your wedding. You're like, no, what I need is, unconditional love. That's all I need from you. Whether this is a mistake or not, let me make it so that I can learn from it.
Exactly.
That's all I want you to do, and trust in me that even if I make this colossal mistake that you think I'm making, I'm going to own up to it. I'm going to just dust it off and continue on with my life. I'm not going to break because of it. So you have to like give me that unconditional love, that trust, and I can do amazing things in life. But sometimes when
Hmm.
they do those things, when they don't give you that support, it freaks you out because they're all you've known.
Yeah. It's like when they turn their back on you. But you know, I've done that same thing to, like I said, nieces and nephews and cousins and other people in my family. Like I'll tell them the real talk. I was like, you know, it's going to be a struggle because of XYZ, because of race, because of monetary status, because of lack of education. But you guys can do it if you put in the work. You have to come together and be strong, communication and all those things. Like now I talk to them. I was like, I may not agree, but it's your relationship, it's your life,
Hmm.
you know. And I think that's the difference
Yep.
between myself and past generations, that they used to be like, if it's not what they want, if it's not what they like, they're not going to be supportive of it. And I feel like I've healed, you know.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
healed, I've helped the next generation.
and that's a beautiful thing because that's the way it's supposed to do. Like for me, is I was stopped from developing that relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't told, you know, if you choose him, we are no longer your family in words, but I was shown what will happen, right? In
Yeah.
other ways. Now, for me, it was like maybe they're right because I'm younger, like I'm too young, right? I don't, maybe they're right. I don't know what I want. I don't know if this is the right person, even though I love this guy. And we've known each other too since we were kids because we lived in the same neighborhood. but we didn't start like because I went to an all girls school and he went to an all boys school. We weren't integrated. My sister didn't want us to be in an integrated kind of school, so we went to a girls school and he went to a boys school. But we would see each other on the bus, and we knew each other from the neighborhood, and we used to play together. Me with his siblings and stuff, so we knew each other. But it was weird that when the relationship came to that, my sister had all these other things to say about the family. When I'm like, but you saw us playing together since we were kids, so why now? Right? Now, the other thing that they did say to me was, if you want to do it, if you want to continue and you go and get married and do that, don't ever expect from me when that doesn't work to have my doors open for you to come back. That
Yes.
again puts a big stop when you're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to. Okay, then maybe I should just stay then because what if it doesn't work out and then I cannot come back? Then I'm going to be all by myself, all alone. And what's going to happen to me? So, all those things, I think that words sometimes, I tell people that words sometimes are more hurtful and more damaging than when somebody slaps you or hits you
Mm-hmm.
because they make more of an impact on you.
Yeah,
They
and
stay with
it's
you longer.
because it's unexpected. And I can say for me, Miss Nexie, that I I think when people are your relatives, like I say, I don't call them family. When your relatives do things to you, it kind of shakes up everything that you thought, because you're like, this is the people that you've known your whole life. You kind of have these expectations that they're going to be kind, they're going to be supportive, they're going to help you. And when they like turn their back on you or say things about you, or things like that, it really has a lasting impact on you. It
Mhm.
messes you up for a really long time.
Sometimes a lifetime, even if you heal, those words are not forgotten because you heal. Those words are still there, but they're in a different, um, they weigh differently as you get healed. They teach you what not to say to others because it did such a number on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
At
Yep.
least that's how I interpret what happened. Now for me is I'm not going to do this to my kids because it damaged me so much that I'm going to try to be different. I'm not going to do that with my nieces and nephews. I always tell my kids, you guys are married, you guys have your families, you guys have live happy lives. That's fine. If that is one day not the case, my house it's always available for you guys. There's
Mm-hmm.
always a room here for you and your family if you ever go through something, whether it's with your husband or without your husband. You're always welcome back home because I want them to know that no matter what decision, even if I don't approve of the decision that they have made, even if they knew that I was hesitant on that relationship, and they probably thinking my mom was right, but I want them to know that yes, they can come back and stay here. I'm going to do the I told you so dance at least twice a day, every day as they move in, but they can always come back.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I will
I'm
say
kidding about
too.
the I told you so.
No, you're not, Miss Nexie. You're not kidding. So
You'll do it.
and that's when, yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, Miss Nexie. When people do come back, you're kind of like have this smirk on your face, like I
I do.
told
I
you
do the I
so.
told you so dance. I'm telling
Hmm.
you. I don't say anything. I don't smirk. All I do is my dance. And they're like, oh my God, say it already, woman.
Yeah, it's one of those things, but at the end of the day, this conversation was really about, saying those things like support support your relatives. Like, it doesn't have to be what you like, it doesn't have to be what you agree with, it doesn't have to be what you think it should be, but support them, that okay, maybe they were wrong and maybe they chose a terrible relationship, maybe it gets to be a DV situation. They need somebody in their corner that they can say, hey, I need to get out of this. I need your support. But if you weren't supporting them before and you've cut them off, they're going to be in quite a predicament.
Exactly, exactly. That's the whole point, Miss Marlene, and thank you for saying that. It's not so much because people get hung in the I told her not to, but this shouldn't be your decision. This
Mm-hmm.
person is going to live with them, with that other person. Their chemistry is different. It's not going to be like you probably don't like him, but she likes him.
Mm-hmm.
You probably don't like her, but he likes her, or vice versa. You probably don't like, your son's boyfriend or your daughter's girlfriend. It doesn't matter. They like them, they love them, so it's their choice what they choose to do with that relationship. All you can do as a parent, as an aunt, as an uncle, because as aunts and uncles, we're extended parents to those kids, right? And all of those little
Mm-hmm.
ones around us that call us family, even though we're not blood related, but we are family in heart. All we can do is be available, just to be maybe a listening, you know,
Yes.
friend, a listening auntie, a listening sister, a listening
Yep.
whatever, just to be there for them so they can know that if they've been abused, if they go into a bad situation and you just cut them off, you have no
Mm-hmm.
idea how much they suffer because they don't have nowhere to go.
Yep. And it should never be that way where a person is just abandoned. There always should be a safe, I call it a safety net, a safe place to
Yes.
fall. Like regardless, like I may not agree, but all you have to do is say a word.
Yeah.
And it's time to pull up. I don't care what, you made a bad decision, whatever, but it's about being supportive. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They only support what they agree with. And let me say, Miss Nexie, like we've said before, sometimes we're wrong.
Hmm.
What if they in the beginning you didn't see the potential in that person, and what if they turn out to be this rocket scientist or whatever, or just even if they're not a person who achieves financially, but if that person finds their soulmate, finds that person that gives them
Hmm.
those flurries inside, that makes them, gives them that sort of peace and love, and they're happy together. Why does anybody have the right to stop that?
There you go. There you go, Miss Marlene. And I think this is a good time for us to stop. I don't
Hmm.
know about you, but I think
I
this
was
is a
just,
good segue.
I was shimmying my way to that.
Yeah, the only thing we can do for others based on what we went through, because I know all of us have that one person that gets away. And sometimes it's even a friendship, Miss Marlene. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a friend that we didn't value, that we allowed our families to tell us not to hang around with them because they're no good. Sometimes they're probably the best that could have happened to us, and we let them go because of it. So let's not allow people to dictate who we hang around with, who we love, who we allowed in our lives, because at the end of the day, it's our decision. And
Yes,
who knows better than you when it comes to what you want and you like?
yes,
No,
yeah,
nobody
and
but
that's
you. So,
and yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we keep doing topics like this, because it's important. All of these topics are important, you know,
yep,
and
there's
we couldn't do this without all of the supporters that come to the sip and chat week after week. Shout out to all of my amazing mods, Realist, Nate, Miss Jackie, um, uh, James. No, it's two James. James Money and
yes.
James Wilson. It was Flurg in here, serious. Thank you, everybody, for your support, and everybody who was in the background tuning in. This is a topic that, you know, It needs to be discussed. And if you have some personal issues, you know how I always advocate and say, don't be afraid of therapy, getting some counseling, because those unresolved issues, it can affect you for years when it doesn't have to. You
Yes.
deserve to be at peace and to settle it. So
There,
thank you, Miss
there you go.
Nexie. I
Couldn't have
appreciate
said it
it.
better
I
myself.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Miss
Yep.
Marlene, for
Thank
having
you.
me, and thank you for this topics because what we like to bring here is from our experience, from what we have gone through in life, from what maybe some young person is going through right now. You know, we like to share because there's a lot of people that go through things and don't have the support the same way we didn't, right? They don't have the support. Thank God we have this now that we can share our lives. There's many, many people out there that can actually come to one of our, podcasts and listen and kind of get their own ideas. But now we have this mode of communication, something that before we were very limited, but now we can actually if we can help someone with what we talk about ourselves here, which is again our personal experiences. We're not telling you to do as we did, we're just sharing with you. If you can take something out of what Miss Marlene brings every week from this podcast, then hey, we're well served.
Yeah, well served. I couldn't agree more. So, we'll see you all next week. This is Love Marlene 411, where we talk about all of the love things. Because when we focus on a good relationship with ourselves and we're healed, we're happy, it can trickle down and we can bring love to others. I appreciate everybody's support. Shout out to the mods. Shout out to all of the channel members. I appreciate you guys. And if you have come this far and you have not subscribed, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. And me and Miss Nexie will see you all next week. Check out,
And don't forget to press the like button.
yes, don't forget to press the like button and check out Nate the Great podcast. He's going live in about 30 minutes.
Oh,
Peace,
good.
everybody. Oh,
Bye,
go ahead.
everyone. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, and don't forget, Miss Marlene, we might be changing the
Oh,
hours in the
yeah.
days.
Oh, yeah, we might be changing the hours. So next week, you may see a
We'll
little.
let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you know. We'll be on the community tab. Check it out.
Yes, ma'am. See, I'm good for something. I knew it.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and have a wonderful weekend. Since we're not going to be able to talk to you guys until next week, thank you for all the support that you give to Miss Marlene. She's an amazing person, amazing host, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Miss Nexie. I'm putting a heart up. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Talk
Okay,
to you all later.
talk to you later. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.